Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a fresh start as far as the week is concerned, as also to celebrate the last working day of September, which has been a fine month as far as the risk on trade and equities are concerned, not only in India but across the world. As usual, we will start with our daily chart of the Nifty right there in front of you. It ended Friday just down 37 points, 26,178, but it capped a 5-day fantastic rally, which not only led to the week ending on a positive note, but it was the third week of continuous gains as far as the Nifty is concerned, right from a low of 24,800 to the close of 26,178. This month alone, Nifty has added 3.74%, making it the fourth consecutive month of gains, and from June, when it added 6.6%, it's the best month in the last 3 months. With this, ladies and gentlemen, on an year-to-date basis, the Nifty is up 21%, and it is now waiting for the festive season to start in the month of October and possibly chart out a new course. We are already at a record high on the Nifty 50. The Bank Nifty, which shed about 541 points on Friday, is also consolidating near record high levels. It crossed over into the 54,000 range, but shut shop at 53,834 on Friday. The top gaining index, of course, were the metal space as also the IT index. Now, with this background in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our conversation for this week. Wednesday will be a holiday. It's a truncated week, it being October 2nd. Therefore, the markets will enjoy a rare day of peace and will remain quiet on Wednesday. But that essentially means that the weekly settlement of the Bank Nifty, which happens on Wednesday, will be shifted a day in advance, which is Tuesday. So with this background, in which you've seen a very sharp rally across the board as far as the Nifty is concerned, let me just highlight a couple of stocks as far as this wonderful rally is concerned for the month of September, and it's none other than the auto space, the index heavyweights such as Bajaj Auto, such as Maruti, such as Hero Motors, that have given a fantastic performance as far as the past 1 month is concerned. Bajaj Auto added 21%, you have Hero Motors up 12%, Maruti up 9%, and the most important one of them all, Tata Motors, is something that we will be looking out for, because the company has just broken ground down south to set up a brand new plant. Remember, Tata Motors is down 7% over the last 1 month, but it has rallied over the last 3-4 sessions, so keep that in mind. Apart from that, there are major events that are scheduled for today. Among them, it's the SEBI board meet, which will decide on the fate of the futures and options market in India, which essentially means that there are a lot of changes afoot in terms of sizes of contracts, in terms of limiting losses, which retail investors have shown in this one, and of course trying to further, improve the way as far as governance in the F&O space is concerned. Apart from that, we will also have data coming in for auto stocks tomorrow. September's volume sales will be visible, and therefore the usual suspects, the 4 auto companies, Bajaj, Hero Motors, Eicher Motors, TVS Motors, have run up sharply already. We'll have Mahindra and Escorts representing the tractor space, and of course on the 4-wheeler side we'll have Maruti and Tata Motors. All of them have done phenomenally well in the month of September. In space will be the metal sector. Keep an eye out on Hindalco, keep an eye out on National Aluminium for 2 reasons. One, China has announced its biggest stimulus so far since you've had the COVID 4 years ago, and look at how the Chinese markets have performed. The Chinese Hang Seng, the Hong Kong index, is up 11% last week, making it the best performing index. Remember, all year to date it's up 20%, but last week it added 11%. So that's the kind of rally that we've seen in Chinese markets, and the biggest beneficiaries will be stocks like Hindustan Copper, stocks like Nalco, which is already at a record high. Look at NMDC. This is something that will also be in top shape. So metals on one side, autos on the other, and of course there will be no stopping the private sector banking space. HDFC Bank is something that you need to look forward to. Kotak Mahindra Bank is something that we've been tracking for the last 1 week or so. These have shown broad breakouts in the market, and these are the few stocks that have not participated in the rally, forget this year, but for the last 3-4 years. So keep an eye out on index heavyweights, HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank, and more so the entire private banking sector, which has been a laggard as far as the overall markets are concerned. This is what the markets are looking at as far as the daily plan is concerned. Mostly a lot of people are extremely bullish. I was in Mumbai over the weekend, met a lot of very big traders and investors. All of them some of them are sitting on cash, but so be it. But a lot of activity likely on the long side as far as the month of October is concerned. Of course, they expect November to be quiet, but we'll deal with November when November comes. But so far, October is going to be a good month as far as this particular session is concerned. Again, as I have mentioned, Wednesday is a holiday, so options premia will be squeezed. You have to sort of end the week in 4 sessions instead of 5, and that impacts option pricing a lot. Let's look at who the guest list is today. We have with us, ladies and gentlemen, Chakri Lokpriya, managing partner, Red Strawberry LLP, joining us a little later, and of course somewhere like 9:10, 9:05 after the pre-open is settled, we'll have Vaishali Parekh, VP Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Leeladhar, joining us. Some interesting points on crude oil prices. I'll request RPCR to fire a chart of crude oil prices. Remember, they've dipped substantially. We've seen a high of somewhere like $84 a barrel somewhere on 5th of July, and we are languishing somewhere like $68, $70 a barrel. This is a golden opportunity for the government of India to cut pump prices, the retail prices that we pay for petrol and diesel. So ahead of the festivities, you are likely to see reduction in the cost of petrol and diesel. It will help us in 2 manners. One, the cost of transporting essential commodities such as food will come down. That will impact inflation positively, and once that positivity is coming in, you just might see a rate cut in India, as has been seen in Wall Street, a 0.5 percentage point rate cut on 18th of September that fueled the rally that we see so far. Let's get the Nifty chart back up again. I'll show you the price of the Nifty when it was September 18th, and it is then that you will appreciate how macro trends shape up the world that we live in as far as financial markets were concerned. On the 18th of September, Nifty closed at 25,377. We are now at 26,178. That essentially means an 800-point rally in less than 10 sessions. Keep that in mind. And the beginning of September, we were somewhere like 25,235. We are now at 26,178. The monthly low on 9th September was 24,753. So from 24,750, that's a cool 1,200 points, 1,250, 1,300 points that you've seen rising on the Nifty alone. Forget stocks, forget the Bank Nifty, which has actually powered this rally. Chakri Lokpriya is with us. Good morning to you, Chakri, and a very warm welcome. It's always a pleasure to host you and to listen to some fantastic, thoughtful analysis of the market. What a wonderful time to be here in India. It's, as they say, teji all around, and all sorts of indices except for the smalls and the mids are rejoicing this party, especially auto stocks. It must be a difficult time for you for 2 reasons. One, how to count so much of money that you've made in 2024, and 2, where to deploy fresh money. Now tell me, which is a bigger problem?
Good morning. Thanks for the kind words. I think the second part is easier to answer. I wish we made more money, but I think there are more than enough opportunities out there, both in the large cap, mid cap, and small cap. So I think this is the time, good time that through your channel you can communicate out to investors that there are lots of opportunities that one can invest in and still generate substantial returns from this point on.
Okay, now let's focus on the opportunity. Chakri, we always drive the car looking out of the windshield rather in the rear view mirror. We've had a fantastic 2024. Nifty alone is up 20%, if not more. How are you deploying fresh funds? Where do you see value? Do large caps attract you because of the relative ease of valuation, or are you trying to hunt in mids and smalls where there's some decent profit booking happening?
Shailji, I think it is a combination of both large and mid cap. Broader market, we are finding enough stocks which are attractive. Now, I think there's some of the themes. One is, of course, power will continue to, whether it's an NTPC power grid or or an Adani energy, or the whole green energy space and the regular thermal power as a space will continue to generate significant returns because the opportunity is huge. So one and second is consumer discretionary. Mind you, when we're saying discretionary, it's not the FMCG, but more the Devyanis, the Varun beverages. These are all low ticket items. And second is the other like a Titan, the higher ticket items. And third is industrial manufacturing. I think still there is enough opportunity there. And financial services, we have to be far more careful.
Fair point. That's a good description that you've given ahead of festivities. You know, food is so essential to us Indians, and
Yeah.
therefore the likes of Varun and Devyani, and of course Bikaji Foods. How can we forget that? Liquor stocks are doing
Yes.
fantastically well, and all sorts of consumption items are doing fairly well as well. Chakri, I wanted you to explain the conundrum that is there in the auto space. Shares have just thrown caution to the winds and running like race horses. Look at Bajaj, look at how Hero Motors has come back in the reckoning. There is top gear being deployed on Maruti, and yet we have this problem of 75,000 crore rupees stuck in inventories, stuck in dealerships. How do you explain this issue to viewers, that at one side we are unable to see volume growth, and yet at the same side of the coin you have stocks galloping to record highs and making fresh peaks?
I think if you take autos as an industry, and one of the conundrums, as you rightly pointed out, is the inventories at the dealership level. Now, if you ask the manufacturers, they say that we are going to the festive season, we need that extra 1 week or plus of inventory at the dealerships to meet the demand. So far, the dealers are not complaining, but yes, it will hurt their balance sheets if the demand does not pick up. Now, so where is the greatest safety is clearly in the two-wheelers, whether Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors, and Hero Motors. But all these three companies, two-wheelers well positioned, two-wheeler demand is strong, will continue to pick up. Combination of both regular engines as well as the EVs, which is continuing to take off. So whether subsidies are removed or not, they will do well. On the other hand, I think Maruti now they'll have the first real listed competition in Hyundai going forward. Until now, if you wanted to buy a four-wheeler passenger vehicle stock, it was only Maruti. Therefore, the premium that you will have to give for that stock. Now, with the Hyundai's valuation being discussed at a premium to Maruti's valuation, Maruti will also do well. So I think overall the auto industry, commercial vehicles are still weak, but that I guess will pick up.
Fair point. Again, one of the laggards has been Tata Motors. I'll request the PCI to fire a long-term chart of Tata Motors for Chakri and also for our viewers. This is a stock which saw a recent high of about 1050, 1060 and then slumped. We have this very strong rally coming into the Chinese markets. China, of course, is a major market for JLR, Tata Motors unit. How do you see this stock at current levels? This is the first one in terms of a large blue chip company to announce a decent expansion plan. They are breaking ground today, Chakri, down south to set up another plant to meet up and soak up demand from South India.
Tata Motors, I think, is very well positioned as a stock, as a company. There have been some hiccups lately, but they are more short term. Now, if you look at the longer term picture, it's a very unique company to think of it. They're there in the luxury goods space. They have the Jaguar Land Rover. They have commercial vehicles. Then they have the mass, Tata cars, and they have a very strong fourth. They have a luxury lineup in the electric vehicles, and they have electric vehicles in the mass consumption space. So, across, and they're both in the domestic market and in the international markets. They sell in China, they sell in UK, Europe, across. And so you have a company which is, you will benefit from demand from both the global as well as local in its true sense. And so, with interest rates cuts being coming, it will clearly benefit.
Okay. Chakri, in terms of private banks, one of the most storied stories is that there has been no story in the private banking space. We've had a very, very dull 4-year period for Kotak shareholders, for HDFC Bank shareholders. Yet now they show signs of some kind of activity after the rate cut on Wall Street. One, do you expect the RBI to follow suit immediately in October? There are already hints of a fuel cut happening in terms of prices on the pump on the retail side. And two, do you see momentum sort of seeping back into HDFC Bank and Kotak? What would be your favorite pick?
Shailji, your line of story, there is no story, I think should be the title of this today's show. Very well put by you. And I think, that is precisely the point with these Kotak and the HDFCs of the world. Now, HDFCs is still looking to fix its balance sheet. And now there is this, they have come to the realization at the bank, at HDFC Bank, that they have to address the mismatch of their LDR, loan deposit ratios. They have to probably sell about 5-6% of their loan book. You sell the low-yielding auto loans, low-yielding mortgage loans. If they want the LDRs to match up, therefore margins to improve, and therefore valuations then to pick up. So this, we'll have to see whether they will do it or not. Kotak, on the other hand, is an expensive bank, continues to be expensive, and now there are leadership vacuum issues. There is a new person on board, the existing people, some of them, they've been a shuffle. So again, it is work in progress. Now, RBI, I think, needs to and would probably follow suit. Shaktikanta Das has been probably one of the best RBI governors India has had. And now is a crucial time. The thing is, again, I think his retirement comes towards the end of this year. Not retirement, contract. So whether it is renewed or not, I guess that's a policy decision. But so who is at the helm of RBI is also a very important thing going into next year. And as far as now is concerned, I think we will begin to see rate cuts in India.
Well, that's extremely good news. And talking about rate cuts, our neighbor across the north border is doing all it can to sort of boost its economy, and that's working very well for our, beaten down, let me use the word thrashed, metal stocks. Within metals, what are your favorites? Hindalco and Nalco are already at record highs, very strong momentum. But what about copper? What about iron ore? What about steel? Where do you see value coming in?
Metals, India is always a very interesting country. There's a text and there's a subtext. And yeah, and therefore the subtext here is we need to stay away from the metal companies which have the potential Supreme Court mining tax impact. For example, Tata Steel has nearly 20,000, 18, 20,000 crores to pay in tax. Whether it will be invoked or not is the suspense part of it. So that will depress the valuation because of that suspense. So then what do? We think stay away from those companies which have the problem. Therefore, buy Vedanta, JSW Steel in the steel space, and Hindalco because again it doesn't have these issues. So I think that is the way that we are approaching.
Fair point. Chakri, before pre-open settles upon us, any two spaces where you booked out partially or fully, and the level of cash in your portfolio?
The levels in our cash are still very low. It's hardly about 2% which we just keep for routine purposes. So we continue to be fully operated. Now, there has been a reshuffle in terms of financials. We thought, private banks will do well, but again, for the reasons just discussed, we kind of balanced it out. But we need to add again PSU banks, which will not face the brunt of any bad loans from Bharati or Vodafone. That's 1 lakh crores. Or from the mining ban, that's another 2 lakh crores. So PNB Bank has just done a QIP, well positioned. Canara Bank just got into Nifty, well positioned. So that, on the other hand, we're staying away from an SBI.
Okay. I think PNB and Canara are great picks. These are stocks that have done nothing for the last 6 months. In fact, slipped. I remember seeing 125, 130 on PNB. Maybe Canara is, of course, a 5-for-1 stock split. But again, 135, 140 is what I remember on Canara. And these are offering juicy opportunities in this uptick as far as the corporate spending is concerned. Just a second left for pre-open as far as prices are concerned, Chakri. One view on IT.
IT clearly, yes, buy. I think, whether it's the front pack, whether Infosys, TCS, HCL Technologies, or, Tata Technologies, Mindtree, those companies, I think there is a greater traction, but the whole pack will do well.
Of course, I rarely stick my neck out because I have friends like Chakri to come up with better stock ideas than what I can ever think of. But yes, Tata Technologies, for those who are wanting to build a long-term portfolio and they want a serious stock to represent the tech space, the auto CAD space, should look at Tata Technologies for the long term. Add and forget, and you'll see great returns after 3-5 years. They could also be multi-bagger returns. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the prices are upon us. It's an absurd quote on the Nifty. We'll ignore that. No such thing is happening as far as today's trade is concerned. We'll just let prices to settle sensibly, and this just might be the right time to start in a different manner. Let's look at the most active counters as far as the NSE 500 is concerned, and you have Chennai Petro 8% higher, 998. Remember, these are volatile prices. You just might see huge moves coming in and out, but nevertheless, bhav bhagwan hai, we have to mark it. GT&D, this is the General Electric Transmission and Distribution business, which recently saw its parent sell a substantial minority stake. Keep the stock in your radar. 3.8% higher, 1768. How about the F&O space? Let's look at some stocks that are creating volume as well as price action. It will be Oberoi Realty. So this is the real estate pack, and the interest rate cut theme that is working very well over the last 3-4 weeks or so. Oberoi Realty, a Mumbai-based top-end luxury retailer, is 2.2% higher, 1935. Needless to say, this is a record high. I see IDFC First Bank clicking 2% higher, 75.68. We have 1.4% uptick on IDFC, 113.5. In terms of gainers in the F&O space, okay, it just slipped my mind. We need to keep an eye out on BEL and Trent. They are a part of the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. We have bid goodbye to Bajaj Finserv and Wipro. So BEL, no stopping this one, consolidates near records high, 0.2% higher, 294. And of course, Trent has been a fantastic example of how sensible retail growth is being tapped by the market. Perhaps the best performer as far as the F&O space is concerned for the year of 2024. So prices are a little muted. What we'll do is we'll let them settle. NMDC is something that I'm looking at. Look at a 2% uptick at 240. This is Hind Copper, 1.2% higher, 349. And of course, you have Vedant, as very rightly pointed out by Chakri. It has no problems with the government as far as the mining tax is concerned, retrospectively to be paid to several states. 516 for you. One of the best dividend paying companies in India is now buzzing 0.5% higher. Chakri, a quick view on BEL, one of the most, how should I say, sensible stocks in the defense space, which hasn't done many calisthenics, but has been one of those quiet overachievers.
You're absolutely right. All the statements you're making today are right on, absolutely right, spot on. Bharat Electronics very quietly continues to do well, continues to gain orders, expanding its range of products, also getting into something in smart energy, and so some related arm of defense. So all these things will boost the margins of the company. Order book very strong. Now also part of Nifty. If you hold it, please continue to hold. I think it's still worth buying for the longer term.
Fair point. And Chakri, we sort of, I generally don't touch upon this war business, but things are, really hotting up in the Middle East. Something that the pace and the level of escalation unseen and unheard over the last 3 decades. How are you viewing it, and why is there no impact on crude oil, given this rampant tension that has been ramped up over the last 3-4 days?
Good point. In fact, today US is one of the largest producers of oil. It stepped itself up in terms of production of oil. Second, it also has one of the largest strategic oil reserves. And the strategic oil reserves have been building up in parts of Europe as well. So this is basically to protect against any kind of these war situations, which traditionally have impacted oil. And with the world just coming out of a slow period, beginning to accelerate, there's enough stockpile of oil, and therefore I think oil will continue to remain in this current price band, which is good for the Indian economy.
And in the same breath, would you favor oil marketing companies on our side? Look at how BPCL has shot up in trade. HPCL giving it company, IOC not far behind. Is this a sensible trade, or has it run its course?
I think it has run its course. All the losses that they suffered in the previous quarters, they would have made up in this quarter with the oil prices falling, whereas petrol prices still the differential would help them to recover some of the losses, and plus and therefore the margins will actually look good, and that is kind of reflected in the stock price. Now the question is, going into state elections coming up in the next couple of months, if prices are being cut down, petrol prices and diesel prices, then BP and HPCL will lose that advantage, that margin advantage.
Okay, fair point. This is the theme that is being very well reflected in the market. Look at how BPCL has shot up. Let me just see. BPCL is up 6.1% in a month. I'll give you a quarterly change on BPCL, and that's how you will notice this very sharp rally. 21% on BPCL and 31% on HPCL. And remember, these are post bonus prices, so stocks have really shot up on this space too. Vaishali Parekh is with us, VP for Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Leeladhar. Good morning, Vaishali. A very warm welcome. We start a fresh week and possibly a fresh month a little later. And thank God there is a holiday right in the middle of the week. So are you looking forward to that holiday, or are stocks keeping you busy as ever?
Always a welcome change. I mean, one always looks forward to this after a hectic day that we go through. But yes, market is making us celebrate now pre-Navratri. So yes, it's celebration time.
Okay, fair point. Now, the most immediate task upon us is to decide where value resides on charts. So, two stocks that you find alluring enough to mention on air, and then we'll discuss about Tata Motors in a while.
Well, I would look at Coal India now, technically quite well placed. So 500 would be the near-term support, and I would look at 540, 545. And similarly, I would also look at NLC, same category. We saw a good volume spurt, good momentum picking up last week. So I continue to have a positive view because it's ready to come out of its consolidation. We are seeing 288. So I think in all likelihood, this can go towards 300, and 275 can be taken as a good support level.
Okay, the all-time high on NLC India was 310 on 18th of July. Remember, metals have been beaten black and blue if you just remove the last 1 week of performance. And while NLC hasn't paid that much of a price, but charts on the likes of Hindustan Copper, on the likes of Hindustan Zinc have been beaten black and blue, although some relief has come in. Now coming to Tata Motors, probably the stock that will be in the maximum news today. Vaishali, what are the charts here telling you? What are the likelihood that you see this company regaining its previous glory of 1177? How are the charts placed? 993 for you.
So, chartically, yes, we saw a good round of correction. Now we saw a consolidation at the 200-day moving average. And the first sign of reversal was about 984. So now if it's sustaining about that, I think it's going to get into a positive trend. First to look towards the target of 1030, then we have the follow-on targets of 1050 and so on. So yes, we have seen the first sign of reversal. We need to sustain at these levels to see a further upside.
Okay, and before we get Chakri into the conversation, Vaishali, your pick, HDFC Bank or Kotak, which of the two charts are positioned better?
So well, HDFC Bank has already been on an uptrend. Kotak has retraced. So I would say Kotak is worth having a look with 1840 as stop loss right now.
Okay, fair point. Chakri, one stock that has gathered momentum in all of September is Bajaj Finance. A low of 6,600 in the beginning of September, and of course a phenomenal show when it comes to the entire month one. Are you enthused with this fairly sharp uptick that we've seen in Bajaj Finance as far as prices are concerned, 78.25 for you? And ahead of the festive season, what is this relative underperformer on the Nifty telling you?
Well, Bajaj Finance, I think, has run up in the recent past, and the valuations therefore are looking slightly pricey now. and yeah, at trading at about 6 times our book, I think I would still stay away from for that reason. Underlying demand will pick up in the coming months because of the festive season. So we'll wait for a better price point for entering the stock.
Okay. Bajaj Finance for you, Vaishali, a stock that has missed the entire 2004 as far as bulls are concerned, but now showing signs of life. As I have mentioned, 6400 on 16th of August and 7700 on Friday. Let's look at the all-time high. It's been a while since I've watched Bajaj Finance. All-time high is 8190, so it's thereabouts. What are the charts telling you for Bajaj Finance, Vaishali?
So yes, the stock has already surged high and doing very well. So even if I'm looking at the weekly chart, we can see some retracement at 7,800 levels. So once we see the stock moving above that and looking sustaining above, we would look at 8,100, 8,200 again. So well, there is no sign of fatigue, exhaustion. It's not yet overbought. Chances are very bright that we can see upward move. But yes, 77, 90 is the level to watch. We may see some profit booking and some retracement.
Fair point. Let's just take a detour in the market where prices have settled. For some strange reason, you have a 0.5% downtick on the Nifty. It's very, very welcome. It just sort of cools the temperature and, of course, gives an opportunity to come back into the index at a relatively modest lower level. Top gainers in the FNO, no surprises, metals, NMDC. Vaishali will take a look at the charts. 243 for you, 3.3% higher. In the first 7 or 10 stocks, there are 5 metal counters. Hindustan Copper, a low liquidity float stock, 349 for you, 1.3% higher. Vedanta, 1.1% higher, 519. This is what Chakri has mentioned. Jindal Steel and Power, 1038, a percent higher. And of course, you have Steel Authority, 0.5% higher, 141.4. To you, Vaishali, NMDC, what are the charts telling you?
Well, NMDC is looking very, very positive, and I think gradually, once it sustains about 249, 250, we would be looking at the next target of 270. So it would be a buy at every dip. Now the near-term support comes at 225.
Okay, one of the best swing trades in the making for those who can see a weekly chart of NMDC, an all-time high of 283 in 21st of May, and of course then it slid and has been sort of consolidating for the last 1 month around 220, 210, and of course this breakout that happened on the monthly charts. The 21-week exponential moving average has been coming back to the bulls. Last week this counter added 10%, so that's a breakout move on NMDC. Coming to you, Chakri, a view on defense counters apart from BEL, have they been thrashed enough, and if yes, what would be your top pick, if at all?
I think Hindustan Aeronautics looks okay. It's still off its highs, and Bharat Dynamics I'm maybe beginning to look at. But I think these are the two companies: Bharat Electronics, Hindustan Aeronautics, and maybe Bharat Dynamics.
Fair point. 74% down, or 74 points down on the Nifty, and it's gathering steam after yesterday's fall and today's gap down. 26,100 is back with the bulls. The low was 26,050. Let us see what the first 15 minutes does to the Nifty in terms of the technical view. Let us just look at stocks in the green as far as the 10 index heavyweights are concerned. Bajaj Finance 0.5% higher, 26.30 at 77.80. ITC flat, 25 paisa higher, record high 523 for you. What is in pain? Okay, There is a very sharp recovery happening on HDFC Bank, 1749, now down just 3 rupees. TCS down 30 rupees at 4278. The other banks are also sort of weak. Axis down 5 rupees 50. ICICI Bank down 15 rupees 90. And what is Kotak doing? 7.5 rupees lower, 1864. So it's a defensive market. Lever is 1 rupee higher. Nothing much to talk about as far as the index heavyweights are concerned. Reliance 25 rupees lower, 3026. So if Reliance, HDFC Bank and Infosys are on the back foot, including ICICI Bank, these four put together are more than 40% of the Nifty. So on the back foot, nothing surprising there. Taking it away, NMDC 4.5% higher, 245.7. This is the Chinese stimulus that is doing very well. 1.8% higher on Hindustan Copper. National Aluminium 2.2% higher, fresh record high. JSW Steel, Vedanta Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco. Okay, out of the top 10 gainers on the FNO stocks, ladies and gentlemen, 8 are from the metal space. Let's look at the wider market. It's not looking good for bulls, although 1111 stocks are in the green, 919 are in the red. The metals index is taking it away, 1.5% higher, 10,214. Vaishali, your first step into the market, what would it be?
Well, I'm looking at ONGC now. So metal already had given us a buying opportunity, so I would say continue holding. But now I would look at ONGC, technically well placed. So I would say, 290 would act as a support for near term and look for a target of 310. And the other stock to my liking, which is technically well placed, is Deepak Nitrite. If you see, the long-term trend is very much intact. We have seen a double bottom formation once again after a retracement, and now it's trying to get into momentum. So risk-reward ratio from here on looks very favorable. 2800 as support, current market price 2922, can go towards 3100, 3200.
Okay, so NMDC, ladies and gentlemen, is something to be looked forward to. Already in the first 5-7 minutes of trade, 30% of 5-day volume has been traded. So 53 lakh shares, and in top shape, 243, 3.75% higher. I think pharma is a space that is doing phenomenally well. Apollo Hospitals at a record high, 7,300 coming on Apollo Hospitals. There's no stopping NTPC and BHEL. They have also hit fresh record peaks. And of course, JSW Steel and Vedanta doing very well. JSW Steel is now in 4 digits, and it's a good day for all those who like biscuits. Britannia in top shape, 6,344, 1.2% higher. What catches your fancy, Chakri, in the opening quotes that we have? 5 minutes of trade, Nifty down 90, but metals and pharma shining bright.
Yes, I still buy, excuse me, NTPC and Power Grid. You know, NTPC has an event, which is the IPO PPC Green coming up, and that will benefit Power Grid as well. They're very related companies. And second is, you know, Deepak Nitrite is also looking good. You know, that company will benefit from the falling US interest rates for its export demand.
Okay, fair point. So these are the two that you find exciting. To you, Vaishali, NTPC. This is a clear buy, given the enthusiasm that is getting built around NTPC Green's IPO. 10,000 crores is what they will raise. Pay off debt worth 7,000 crores and use 3,000 crores for corporate purposes. Should be up and running in November. Your view on NTPC?
Well, it's very positive, because we saw technically also just some time back it gave a decisive breakout above 421 levels. So that implied a lot of strength in this counter. Technical near-term resistance is 445. Once we see the stock sustaining above, we can still see further upside going towards 460, 480 levels.
Okay. We'll do a quick detour into the broader markets, ladies and gentlemen, and see what is happening in BEL. Two stocks which are a part of the Nifty from today. BEL now trading a percent lower, 291. So the debut on the Nifty has been muted, but really nothing to be worried about. This has been a star outperformer, a quiet overachiever, which has rewarded shareholders very well. From the day that BEL was set up, ladies and gentlemen, it has never ever raised fresh capital. So that's how quality is defined, and that's the reason why, among many others, that you see BEL now being a part of the top 50 companies representing India on the global space in its main index. Charts of BEL, Vaishali, what are they telling you?
So BEL, well, nothing much happening. It's just trying to show some upward move, small consolidation. So I would say the conviction in this stock, the strength would be seen above 307. So right now it's just consolidating. It needs to move past 300 levels to look for higher targets.
And you know, that's the beauty of BEL. Charts have always been quiet. Yet, this is a 1:1 bonus that you see most recently, and BEL at almost 294, 295 has seen a record high of 341 on 10th of July. Let us see how momentum comes in. And if you see the weekly picture, let me give you this wonderful statistic. This is a stock that I have watched with great admiration. So exactly a year ago, on 30th of September, the counter was at 135 rupees, and it is now at 292. This includes a 1:1 bonus. So 292 into 2 would be somewhere like 580, and this is how quietly, without making any how should I say noise in the market. Of course it made a lot of noise, but there were a lot of other defense players that were making more noise than one can imagine or consume. BEL is right there with you. I'd just like to see what Trent is doing, because Trent is now a part of the Nifty from today, and of course one of those fabulously well rewarding counters for shareholders. 78.25. Let me just give you the month to date. Can I do year to date? No, I can't do year to date. Trent for you, Chakri, is the best behind it, because now you have it reaching the final destination that any stock would like to have, be a part of the Nifty 50. Is enough, or is there more in the pipeline as far as stock prices are concerned?
There's absolutely far more in the pipeline. They also as the catalyst of once being in the Nifty attracts a bunch of new investors who have never been there in that stock. And from a business perspective, one, in the near term, Navratri, Diwali, all of them will help in the retail push. And they have been good in terms of getting their fashion cycles right from a retailing perspective, and
Yes.
Trend continues to look good.
So on any parameter that you would want to see Tata's foray into India's booming retail market via Trent, it's a fabulous quality score, a fabulous growth score, and a wonderful momentum score. But valuation, well, when you have the other three on the upper quartile, valuation will be in the lower quartile. Extremely expensive when you look at the PE, as also the price to book. I think price to book would be 30 times, if not more. Vaishali, let me not bother you with such trivialities. Tell us what Trent is trying to do on the charts.
Well, it's actually, well, to those who have it should enjoy the rally. But I would also say it's time to book partial profit because
Yes.
if you see, even on the monthly chart, it is deep, deep, deep overbought. I mean, look at the RSI. So, I mean, it's beyond my
Yes.
understanding that the
Yes.
stock is so strong and sustaining at these levels. But I would definitely suggest to book partial profit.
Okay, but for those who have it in their portfolio, you've had a fabulous rally year to date, which is in the last 9 months. Trend has gone up 1.5 times compared with the 18% return on the Sensex. In the last 3 years, each year the stock has given 100% return. So, if it was at a 100% return would mean that same time a year ago this was at 3500, same time 2 years ago it was at 1700, and same time 3 years ago it was at 800. So it's doubled, compounded at 100% over the last 3 years. And my apologies, I got the numbers wrong. The PE is 163 and the price to book is 63 times. But as they say in India, and I know Vaishali you won't remember, and probably even Chakri won't, but there was this lovely ad that came from Hindustan Lever. It was called HLL then, by a lady called Lalita ji, and she said, sasti cheez or अच्छी चीज़ में फ़र्क होता है. This was about surf, ages ago, somewhere in the 1980s, when they were facing an onslaught from Nirma. But that has been very true for the Indian markets as well. Here expensive things become even more expensive. Chakri, have you seen that ad? I don't think so.
Absolutely.
You would have.
I do remember that in terms of it was to counter the competition from Nirma. And so, yes, absolutely. I think that's a very good analogy. We will continue to grow India as a country. So I think valuations will take care of themselves.
Okay. Vaishali, you are free to deny that you've not seen that ad and we will believe you. But
No, I've definitely
what
seen it.
about Lever? Lever is also showing
I would say yes, I have seen this. In
You
fact,
should
even
be saying
Little.
these. I would
Yes.
have.
So these are the ads which one can never forget.
No,
Yes, so Hindustan Unilever again doing
I
very
thought you
well.
were in.
Yes, so
Why
yes,
don't
I
you
mean,
finish on Lever? Then I'll talk about your school days.
yes. So Hindustan Unilever, I think it's all set to make higher targets, maybe towards 3,200 or so. But I would say keep a trailing stop loss. Seeing the indicator, I
Yes.
think it can go into new round of strength. There is strength seen even now. So yes, wait and watch. Not a new buy, not a sell right now.
Okay, no issues there. Vaishali was in school when this decade started in 2000, and I'm sure she's not seen these two ads, which one, the ones that I talk about, and we will leave this conversation here. Let's look at the Nifty. Profit booking is sort of upon us. Now 123 points lower, 26,050. The Nifty Bank is 0.5% lower, in fact more, 331 points lower, 53,500. A green tick is only on the metals index. You have profit booking across the space as far as main indices are concerned. I would like to see what the mid cap and the small cap indices are doing. The Nifty 100 mid cap is 0.5% lower. The small cap index is again 0.5% lower. It's the advanced decline that bothers me a bit, where 30 stocks on the small cap index are in the green, 23 stocks on the mid cap 100 index are in the green. So the advanced decline is favoring bears, and we have just 15 minutes into trade. So a bit of red, and it's okay, ladies and gentlemen. We've had this mad rally in all of September. Maybe the index would like to rest on its haunches after this very sharp 1300 1400 point uptick over the last 3 weeks or so. But this is the Nifty, and we are in a massive bull market. Maybe an intraday pause. The most recent support that I see is at 26,001. Let us see whether that holds or not, and then we will take it forward from then on. But the first 15 minutes have been belonging to the bears. Let's look at the top gainer on the Nifty. That will show you an interesting insight as to what the market is thinking. And it's metals. Well, it's metals all the way. Hindalco fresh record high, 1.5% higher. Tata Steel 1.1% higher. JSW Steel 1.4% higher. Titan is something that Chakri began his conversation with. Let's get Vaishali here. Vaishali, the last 15 days have belonged to jewelry stocks. Across the board, very decent moves coming into Senco, Sky Gold, Goldiam International, smaller ones, TBZ, PP Jewelers. Anything that you feel is still offering value, or is this trade done?
So in fact, frontline Titan itself still shows strength. I mean, it's ready for a break. I mean, it is ready to retest the previous highs. So that is 3880 or so. And above that, we can have another projected target of 4100. So I would say Titan is yet fresh for remaining last leg of momentum in this rally, if I would say so. But the other ones, Goldium and all, they have really surged very high. So I would say profit booking should not be ruined.
Okay. Before we thank Chakri, here's the best of festivities to you, Chakri. And you've made top money this year. First 9 months, the smile tells me. Now we are looking forward to welcoming you in Delhi. The weather's fantastic, and of course food is amazing. So whenever you have a weekend spare, we are looking forward to welcoming you here, and all the best for the remaining 3 months, and of course we'll be catching up in the rest of the year as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this conversation forward. 9:34. The Nifty is now slipping and slipping further. Let us see how 26,000 is tested by the bears. I would believe there'll be a bounce back, because the most recent high is 26,253, which we saw Friday tops. Let us see how 26,000 holds. But for the moment, it's the first 15 minutes have been taken away by the bulls. Let's look at some winners. Let's look at some volume busters in NSE 500. Where is the money going in? Well, it's a blowout on JM Financial. Ladies and gentlemen, a cleanup is underway at this NBFCs. They are shedding all, how should I say, underperforming and businesses that are dragging on its mainline business. Now at 150. Needless to say, a record high is on way, 5% higher. What are the charts telling you on JM Financial, the top gainer on NSE 500 today?
Oh, yes, so we got a decisive breakout above 110. So since then, it was a very strong sign that it's going to surge high. And now if you look at the weekly chart, it's ready for the next target of 160. That's the level to watch for. Once we see, so I think 156, 160 is the zone where we can see some profit booking, because this has been a perpendicular rise. So 160 should be the target for now. Let's wait for that.
Yes. Okay, that's the view that is coming in on JM Financial. Let me just give you an interesting data on this stock. Let's look at the performance in September. JM Financial, ladies and gentlemen, please hold your seats, is up 41% in September alone. This is the top performing stock on a monthly basis also in the NSE 500. We'll shift focus again to daily trades. Okay, what is looking good, which has interesting characteristics? Tata Steel, Vaishali, 170. These are, of course, metal counters. I don't remember seeing Tata Steel's charts for a very, very long while. And yes, so a nice weekly rally all of last week, and now a sensible breakout. 170 for you, Vaishali. This is the highest since July 16th. What are the charts telling you?
So technically, this has given us a very systematic run. We saw a good move above 152. We saw 155. Now 170 would act as a hurdle. Once we see this stock moving above 171, 172, we are ready for a target of 180. So the stock is showing a lot of strength.
Okay. So it's, the entire metal space, as we have been discussing over the last 1 week or so, blowouts happening mainly on account of what the stimulus has coming in from China, and of course metals have been way underperformers, not only on the Nifty but compared with the broader market also, and this is the reason why you see this very, very sharp uptick. NMDC again gathering strength, is now 4.5% higher. In terms of volume busters, now almost 100% of NMDC is traded. Remember, last 5 sessions have also shown a very smart burst, but it's the blowout that is happening because of what's been done in China in terms of they trying to stimulate the economy, rate cuts and all. So this is something which is done very well. Hindustan Zinc 1% higher. The charts here do no justice to the underlying business. Remember, Hindustan Zinc is India's top silver producer, and it's languishing. We have seen 800 on Hindustan Zinc on 30th of May, and we are now at 523. Vaishali, if you just step back into the weekly picture of Hindustan Zinc, what is it telling you?
I would say it's a buying opportunity because we've seen a decent retracement. Again, a good consolidation at 490 levels, and now it's showing signs of there is a pickup. Even RSI, even the other indicators are showing a little bit of stability. So I would definitely go in for a buy at these levels. Above 535, 540, I think this can be ready for a target of 600 to start with.
Okay, 940 now. Remember, there are swing trades that are happening in, how should I say, metal companies from the PSU basket, like NMDC and Steel Authority, and there are momentum breakouts happening on JSW Steel and Jindal Steel and Power. They are making record highs. So whether they will be chased or not, only time will tell. But what is for certain is that you will see better days ahead for beaten down, relatively worse off counters like NMDC and Hindustan Zinc, because now not only will valuations matter, momentum will also start to seep in. Let's again shift focus to where momentum is and look at top traded counters. Reliance so far down a percent, 3018, 481 crores. JM Financial is doing very well now, 6% higher, 151. Zomato 0.5% lower. Profit booking on BSE, nothing to be worried about. Let's look at the entire AMC and broking space. The reason why I mentioned this is that SEBI has a board meet today, and a lot of changes are expected for the F&O space, which is the mainstay for broking companies in terms of income, and therefore you see ICICI Securities 2% lower, 870. IIFL 1.75% lower, 470. You have NAM, you have CDSL a percent lower. I want to see what Angel Broking is doing. Angel 1.6% lower, 2573. No, 1.7% higher. Edelweiss is 1.4% higher. So it's a mixed kind of a view. but I think the star performer is JM Financials today. Let me just see what the all-time high is. I remember about 180. JM Financial has been a long-term underperformer. Let me just tell you what the all-time high is. 188, and this we saw in the month of October 2017. Let me just look at the monthly chart. Yes, practically the stock has done nothing at all. We've seen February 2008 as the all-time high of about the same value, but this is possibly the time to get into JM Financial in a bit of profit booking if you get it, but very strong volumes since 26th of August, and that was when the rally started from 95 to 101 in a single day, and the stock has not looked back, appreciating 41% in a span of a month. Profit booking all around. The Nifty is now kissing 26,015 for you. Let's look at the advanced decline within the Nifty. This will give you an idea about the state of trader mentality. Only 17 stocks on the Nifty out of 50 are in the green, and now only 2 indices are left in the green, which is the Nifty Metals Index that we've discussed, and of course FMCG. Vaishali, what are you watching?
Well, actually, I'm looking at few of the IT counters also. If you look at HCL Tech looks quite promising. I mean, we are having an open target of 1900, and that is comparatively showing strength. So HCL Tech is a stock to my liking right now.
Okay, let's just needless to say, HCL Tech will also be at a record high. This has been one of the most stable outperformers in the index, and has quietly outperformed its 2 larger rivals, which is TCS and Infosys. Let's look at the month to date on HCL Tech. Okay, why can't I see it? Yes, month to date returns have been 3.6%. Have the year to date been better? Okay, 23% higher on HCL Tech year to date. It's definitely outperformed Infosys and maybe TCS as well. Yes, it's outperformed both of them. But you know, when you have a 170% uptick on Oracle Finance in the last 9 months, there is pretty much very little that you can do on this one. But that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at some other prices in the Nifty 50 as far as changes are concerned. It's metals all the way. Asian Paints maybe, I think 33.40, a percent high. Let me check whether this is closer to its all-time high. Asian Paints is again showing signs of life after a very painful 2 years. Vaishali, what are the charts telling you? Still far away from record highs, which was somewhere like 34.50 in January. What are the charts telling you here? Festive season is upon us.
Definitely. So it is, of course, in an uptrend, still having higher bottom formation. So now the way chartically we are seeing, we will see the stock moving up to at least 3380, and from there on we have to have a relook. If it sustains above that, I think it can go to 3900 levels.
Okay, that's how it is when it comes to Asian Paints. And at the same time, we'll also look at Kansa and Nerolac. We'll give a look onto Berger Paints. We also have a sharp move coming into stocks such as Indigo Paints, Akzo Nobel. This is the entire paint space that is doing phenomenally well over the last 3 or 4 sessions. With festivities upon us, you normally see paint companies doing phenomenally well in the last quarter of the calendar year. That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. 946. Let me just see. Transaction charges. 1 second, there's some news coming in. Okay, we'll avoid this for a moment, but let's look at top gainers in the mid cap space, where you see profit booking, but you see strong gains there. Recovery on PB Fintech, this is Policy Bazaar, 3.6% higher. I'll request Vaishali to look at Policy Bazaar. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, Nifty has slipped below 26,000. Whether it will continue there in the red, or whether this level will be tested between bulls and bears, only the next 10-15 minutes will show. But a very, very exciting battle upon us on the charts as far as the Nifty is concerned. Policy Bazaar, Vaishali.
So it's right now sitting on a cluster of moving averages support. So I would say that yes, we can see a bounce coming in from here on. It's 1700, at least intraday bounce can be seen at 1740, 1750. And well, that would show a sign of reversal to surge higher, get into an upward trend, continue being in an upward trend.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 947. There aren't any unusual stocks in the top traded list today. On the green side, I see activity on BSE returning. I'll request Vaishali to look at the charts for BSE. We'll come to that. 2% higher, 37.23. BPCL in top shape, 375 rupees for you. This is post the stock split. What else is doing well? Steel Authority we've marked, and of course the other metal counters, NMDC. Among the winners as far as percentage rise is concerned, there are many names, but I don't want to mark any of them. Hang Seng Bees is the Hang Seng index that in the form of ETF is available for Indian shareholders. We'll leave that 365 for you, and doing phenomenally well. But BSE for you, Vaishali, what are the charts telling you?
Well, of course, again, getting into momentum, we had our resistance at 4100, and that's what we had seen some time back. So I guess, well, it's quite possible that from here on it can retest these levels and perhaps go higher.
Okay, remember today is also a day where the norms for charging of fee change towards a fixed cost. While that's negative for exchanges, but like I said, BSE has already corrected from 4100 to 3500, and that pain seems to have been absorbed very well, and that's the reason why you see fairly strong momentum. Okay, Hubtown, this is a Mumbai based realtor which saw huge block deals a couple of weeks ago. This has shown up on the volume space, fairly high numbers tracked in the first 45 minutes, 30 minutes of trade. Vaishali, charts of Hubtown?
Well, it's 330 right now, and I guess quite run up stock, so I would say book profit. Yes. Quite run up, and it's showing negative divergence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Monthly chart is intact, but yes, near term I would say can book profit.
Okay, there was a huge block deal on 31st of August where 35 lakh shares changed hands. The price was somewhere like 240, and in a span of 2 months, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the stock move from 245 to 335. That's how markets are in a bull run. But for the moment, 25,987. Temporarily, let's hope that 26 is with the bears as far as the initial trades are concerned. Let's look at some interesting data for you. Amongst losers, where do you see some decent profit booking? Not names that I would like to take on air as far as prices are concerned. All-time highs, we marked Vedant, BPCL, NTPC, Hindalco. Okay, let me just give you some other names. Apollo Hospitals, record high, half a percent higher, 72.76. Blue Star, 21.80, 2.5% higher. I'll avoid this name on purpose. Sudarshan Chemicals, 11.15, 1% higher. Okay. Again, I'll avoid a couple of names. They better not be mentioned on air. These are the ones, ladies and gentlemen, which are worth mentioning, who have hit all-time highs. All-time lows, of course, there are stocks, but let's not name them. They are not, except for Cross Limited, which just got listed. So profit booking on this one, and that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Fairly quiet day for bulls. Profit booking continues unabated. Now you have a double-digit loss, a double century in the red as far as Nifty is concerned, 204 points lower. And let me just see what the advanced decline ratio is telling us in terms of the stocks that are pulling the Nifty lower. Pullers and draggers. Okay, ICICI Bank 2% lower, 46 points in the red for the Nifty. Reliance contributing 43 points in the red. HDFC and Axis Bank 17 each, and Infosys 12 points in negativity. What's pulling the market higher on the Nifty? It's the defensive pack. Hindustan Unilever 6 points in the green. Hindalco record high, 4 points in the green. Asian Paints 1% higher, nothing much. These are minor index weights. Nevertheless, they are in the green, and that is something that needs to be appreciated. Where is a breakout in volume happening? This is after a very, very long time. I am seeing McLeod Russell. Oh, surprising. Vaishali, McLeod Russell at 32 rupees has a huge volume blowout. This is a tea company which we pay little attention to, although at least I enjoy the brew a lot. What are the charts of McLeod Russell telling you?
There's something really happening in this company. I mean, it's showing a lot of strength. The way we have seen each day, we are seeing a gap up opening. So I think the way the stock is moving, one can dare to buy even with today's low as stop loss and look for a target of 38 to 40 to start with. In fact, I'm seeing the weekly chart also.
So 3 circuits back to back. Okay.
Yes. Weekly chart also, it's showing strength, a lot of consolidation, and from there on we are seeing some movement happening. So I guess long way to go. It can give good returns.
Okay, so 3 back-to-back 10% circuits in the last 3 sessions, and Vaishali is absolutely right. The stock has done nothing at all from June 2021. So this is what a 3-year, almost 40-month breakout that you are seeing on McLeod Russell. We'll try and find out what's happened. This is a tea maker, which is little known, but you have a strong move coming in there. I'd like to mark Infosys for one reason. It is in the red, but it's recovered very sharply from its intraday low, and that is something that needs to be appreciated. What's the low for today? 1 second. The low has been somewhere like 1840, 1874. Okay, and now at 1898. This is interesting. Vaishali, would you comment on the medium term charts of Infosys?
I would say actually, overall, if you see the IT pack, there is still upside. And we saw some good spurt coming post Accenture result and all. But right now it's a bit subdued. But well, bias is still positive. As I brought to your notice, HCL Tech, they're all doing very well. In fact, Wipro is showing a bounce back. So overall, full IT sector is doing well. So even Infosys, even at this level, it looks pretty positive to me.
Okay, Vaishali, before we bid you goodbye, anything that you would want to comment for the month of October on technical charts? Where do you advise caution? Where do you see strength? Where do you see hope? And where do you see, now enough is enough?
No, I won't say that because as long as, we have come with our monthly levels also, as long as 25,500 level is held on, we would still be positive for a target of 26,600 to 26,800. And as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, I think it should halt here because we do have our higher projected targets, but it will be more of a stock specific movement. So I'm looking at cement counter on the whole and few of the chemical stocks that look pretty promising, and of course the banking stocks along with IT. So overall, we are seeing good circulation, rotational movement. So I would say continue staying positive, but yes, a discipline is a must.
Okay, and that one stock in the Nifty, that one mid cap and that one small cap, where you feel there is value to be had as far as prices are concerned for let us say a 6 months time frame.
Well, so for midterm, mid cap, I would look at cement stocks as I mentioned, Ambuja and ACC, technically very well placed. So I do like these stocks. It can give a good run up from here on. And in front line, well, I would look at Reliance right now because we saw a good pickup coming on Friday, still holding on well. So I would say Reliance is the stock to look into because in the front line, this has not really shown any good participation. So I think for a target of 3,200, 3,300, this looks fairly good at these levels.
Okay, 9:58, Vaishali. Good to have you at the start of the week. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, enjoy Wednesday, much needed. This midweek holiday that comes is the most cherished day of the week. You work for 2 days, have a break, work for 2 days, and then you get 2 days off.
Yes,
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that we'll end this show. We'll leave the Nifty trying to recoup 26,000 for the bulls, but the intraday low, please note this. This is something very, very exciting. The intraday low so far is 25,950. Let us see how the day pans out, but shining forth are metal counters, a strong move coming into NMDC, Steel Authority, all Tata players, Tata Steel, of course, smaller rival Jindal Steel, Jindal Steel and Power, JSW Steel as well. A very sharp breakout happening on JM Financials. Please keep that stock in mind, although it's accelerated a lot, and you see a very sharp momentum coming into stocks such as Asian Paints and the entire real estate SPAC. We'll be back, and news continues on Business Today Television. Please remain glued to the channel. Thank you.
Well, health financing data through the national health accounts comes out as an annual report, and we are very happy to release 2 annual reports. There was some delay for the previous one because of the because of reasons of election, etc.